All right, welcome back to the stream. Welcome back to another video. Today, we're going to get into a variety of topics, but this first one, I know everybody wants to know what is going to happen to this $7,500 federal tax credit, and specifically what will happen to it with the Tesla Model Y. There's really no update here officially, but we're going to talk about what could potentially happen on what my thoughts are, which if you've been following the stream, if you've been watching a lot of the videos, it's basically the same on where it could potentially lose it, it could potentially keep it, but I'm a little bit more pessimistic than others, and I really feel like the Tesla Model Y will lose at least half of it. And of course, I'll talk about it and get into the reasons why, but I want to hear from you all. I want to know what you are thinking. Do you think the Tesla Model Y will keep it, the $7,500 federal tax credit, or will it go down to $3,750, or will it go down to zero? So we'll talk about it. We'll explain it all, and I would love to hear your thoughts as well. But before we get into any of that, let's roll that intro real quick. All right, so thanks for watching another stream. Thanks for watching another video. My name is Dennis, and I love talking about Tesla hacking, as I like to call it, but basically just getting the best deal on Tesla with the best financing rate. So definitely hit that subscribe if you're interested. And shout out to my latest Patreon members, Shan, William, and Colin. Thank you for joining the Patreon. Hopefully you got some benefits. If you want to check it out, the YouTube join link down below or the Patreon link, you can get access to my buying guide, which has links to all the best credit unions and banks, amongst other stuff, to get the best deal on a Tesla. And so let us jump into this. If you don't know what's going on right now, there is a $7,500 federal tax credit. It is from the IRS and of course the Treasury, and that's really only if you as an individual qualify. So most people do qualify for the full $7,500 federal tax credit, and then kind of the rule of thumb here is that you have to have a tax liability, and if you're someone that makes a W-2 income above $70,000 to $80,000 as a single person with no dependents, married, or anything like that, you're going to pay about $7,000 to $8,000 in tax liability throughout the year on all your paychecks, and you're going to get that right away back. If you don't believe me, just talk to a CPA so that you can get the the most clarified information at the end of the day. But here's where it jumps into. So here's an article from Edmunds, really good article because it talks about the $7,500 federal tax credit, and it's breaking out into two exact parts. We've got the critical battery minerals at $3,750 and the battery components where it's manufactured at another $3,750. And so right now, on the IRS tax website, there's no updates to this. And what we know so far is that the Treasury is supposed to announce some sort of clarification on this sometime this week. It could be tomorrow. They could wait essentially all the way until the 31st. And in terms of predictions, worst case scenario, it could end right away on April 1st, and Model 3 and Model Y will not qualify for the full $7,500 federal tax credit. That's the worst case scenario. I would say best case scenario, what we know so far is that the Model 3 standard range, the cheapest vehicle, is slated to not receive the $7,500 federal tax credit. We still don't know really what's going to go on with the Model 3 long range or Model 3 performance. In terms of Model Y, there's three trims that we can really dive into, right? There is the Model Y all-wheel drive version, there's the Model Y long range, and of course the Model Y performance. What's interesting here is there's a good amount of inventory on waitingfortesla.com, and you could readily be able to find one if you really want to. But jumping down to this article, which is pretty interesting from Electric, it dives into about how the Model 3 is going to lose the federal tax credit, but there's a paragraph here that a lot of people are referencing. It says, quote, "As for the Tesla, other Model Y and Model 3 vehicles, they are expected to retain access to the full tax credit as they use battery cells built by Tesla or Panasonic in Nevada, California, or Texas." So we could essentially get into an environment where Model 3 standard range does not qualify for anything, and Model 3 and Model Y long range performance, or even all-wheel drive Model Y, could qualify for the full $7,500, or it could qualify for just $3,750. And so all we know right now is you must take delivery by March 31st to ensure that you get the full $7,500 federal tax credit. You can see it right here. It must be a delivery by March 31st. to get that full tax credit. But it's really unknown, right? It could essentially, I personally think that the Model Y could go down to a $3,750 tax credit. And the reason why I think that is because if you go to Tesla's website, maybe I'm just grasping at whatever the kind of interesting stuff on the website here, but if you go to tesla.com, you can see that the Model 3 has this banner at the top that says tax credit changes soon. Eligible buyers take delivery now to guarantee a $7,500 credit. But if you switch to Model Y, it just says new Model Ys qualify for a $7,500 tax credit. It doesn't really have any sort of messaging that you must take delivery now. And so I would think that because they know that the Model 3 is potentially losing all of it, and maybe the Model Y is only maybe losing half of it, that they might be thinking that they would have the Model Y at $3,750 tax credit. And that's why they didn't necessarily change the wording on there, because it still has some sort of tax credit, or it could be a full $7,500. I mean, at the end of the day, we want the most tax credit as much as possible, which is going to be more deliveries, more sales for Tesla for the Model Y. But the other thing, the reason why this supports why I feel like it only will have a $3,750 tax rate is because we probably can suspect and assume that Tesla has known early on that they're only going to get the $3,750 tax rate for the Model Y. And so they probably heard it around this time, right? So we know in January 12th, they did a massive price cut down $13,000 or $12,000 for the Model Y long range across all trims. And they went down almost $11,000 for the Model Y all-wheel drive. And so they didn't really do any sort of price increases until about February 3rd. That's when they did, or actually 1 week after, on January 23rd, they did a long-range $500 increase, and then another long-range 1.5 or 1,500 increase on February 3rd. So they've increased the Model Y long range $2,000 higher than what they initially in price dropped it at. So they could have potentially heard that they're only going to get $3,750, and so maybe they've increased the price $2,000 because they know they're going to have to drop the price maybe $2,000 to $3,000, maybe $4,000 in the near future once the Tesla Model Y loses the tax credit, or it loses half of the tax credit. And so that's kind of what I'm thinking. That's my prediction. Of course, I'm also, I'm a worst case scenario type of person. So maybe like worst case scenario, it goes down to $3,750. But of course, wishful thinking, I would love for the Tesla Model Y to have the full $7,500 tax credit. But let me know what your thoughts. Let me know what you think. Of course, we put a poll on the channel just to see what everybody else is thinking there. We just did it 24 minutes ago, and there's already 123 votes on it already. You can see an overwhelming majority, 45%, said Tesla will keep the $7,500 tax credit. My other option here was that Model Y would go down to $3,750, and then 8% said Model Y standard range would get the $7,500, but the long range performance would go down to $3,750, because that is another option. Like, what if Model Y standard range all-wheel drive? That seems like Tesla has plenty of these available, because Giga Austin is starting to ramp up and pump out more Teslas over Model Y standard ranges. That could keep the $7,500. And also the other thing to support that is the Model Y standard range, I think, only went up $1,000 in the most recently. And so maybe it's not going to lose the $7,500 at all, but I guess maybe they would have increased it a lot more than that if that was the case. But definitely some pretty interesting stuff. Actually, 11% said zero tax credits. So there's probably going to be a 50-50 balance here at the end of the day, but we'll follow on to see. I mean, it's only Monday. We've got a full week of waiting from the IRS and the Treasury to make some sort of announcement. But if you've got a pending estimated delivery date, if you've got estimated or a pending delivery in the next few days, you should be good. But if you want to double check, you can always call the IRS to make sure that nothing has came out regarding like if your vehicle, the Model Y or Model 3, will get the $7,500 tax credit or not. And of course, there is rumors that there potentially could be if like, let's say the Treasury announces that the Tesla Model 3 and Model Y loses the $7,500 federal tax credit, but or it maybe goes down to $3,750. There's been talk of a transitionary period, like 30, 60, maybe 90 days. I mean, I think that would be great, right? Like, what if like they say it's going to lose the 7,500 tax credit, or it goes down to 3,750, and they say, but if you take delivery by June 31st or June whatever, you'll still be good and locked in as because a harsh cutoff date would suck, but they've definitely done that in the past. They did that to Hyundai and Kia when Inflation Reduction Act was first signed. Well, actually all brands like Porsche, any of these other EV vehicles out there, a lot of those vehicles lost the tax credit that literally that same day or the day after it was actually signed, the IRA was actually signed. So definitely some pretty interesting stuff. Let me know what your thoughts, let me know what you're thinking. We're going to jump into our next topic, but before we do that, this video is actually sponsored by my Patreon link. Down in the description is the Patreon link where you can support the channel, and there's a variety of benefits, but some of them include actually scheduling a call with me. You can ask me any questions about buying a Tesla, selling a Tesla, or even financing a Tesla. And after you join the Patreon, you get a link to my buying guide, which has links to all the resources that I use to get the best possible deal with the best financing. So definitely check out if you're interested. Link down below in the description. All right, water break. Thanks for jumping in, everyone. I spilled. Oh no. I spilled on myself, streamers. Thanks for jumping in, Ron, Market, German Pro, Keith, Trinity, Ron, John Payne. Thanks for jumping in. Of course, as always, with the benefit of the live streams, you can ask anything you want in the live stream as a question, and I will certainly get to it at a certain point. But we've got a variety of topics. Let's see what else we got. It looks like Tesla is bringing back referrals. We've got free supercharging for the Model 3 and the Model Y potentially coming back in this market. We've got what do you guys think about the Volkswagen ID Buzz? I kind of like it, but I guess I got to see it in person, and I would love to see what price point it actually comes out at, because that's the key thing, right? Like, the vehicle is cool and all, but if it comes out like at 80, 90, 100K, well, it probably won't, but you never know. You never, ever, ever know at the end of the day. All right, well, in case you missed it, Tesla is now offering free supercharging. We talked about the Model S and X getting it in America, but in this market, Tesla has now offered free charging for the Model 3 and the Model Y if you take delivery by March 31st. And so why we love talking about this, because it seems like Tesla has the same bag of tricks in their back pocket. And so what they release in one market, it could easily come to this market. And we'll talk about what the deal is and what it actually is, and maybe the prediction is it's coming to America very soon. But if you're just joining in, my name is Dennis. I love talking about Tesla hacking, as I like to call it, but basically just getting the best deal on Tesla with the best financing rate. So definitely hit that subscribe if you're interested. So let's take a look at this. So shout out to Tesla Chan. Tesla offers free supercharging benefits when buying vehicles in Europe for quarterly delivery. 3,000 miles for free supercharging in England, or 5 kilometers in Germany. As a thank you for taking delivery at this time, we are awarding you complimentary credits equivalent to 3,000 free supercharging miles by taking delivery by March 31st of 2023. So this is cool. I mean, we could easily see this. Like, Tesla just launched this in the American market for the Model S and the X, but it was actually 10,000 miles, which is about $1,000 valuation. So 3,000 miles is probably maybe $300 to $500 valuation in true valuation, but we could easily see this coming to America. I mean, it's Monday. We've got 5 days left in the month. Like, if we look historically, Tesla does stuff like kind of last minute. I mean, last in December, like on December 28th or 29th, with like 3 days left in the month, they instituted a 7,500 discount on Model S and X. And so they could easily do whatever they want to, especially if they're not going to hit their number by the end of the quarter. But we're going to talk about that as well. But it's definitely some interesting stuff, especially because there is a good amount of Tesla Model Y and Model 3 inventory actually available. So I could easily see them offering some sort of free supercharging promotion for the American market. So if you've got a pending estimated delivery date, or if your estimated delivery date is pushed out or whatever, it doesn't hurt to ask at the end of the day of your Tesla sales rep, or just hit the text saying, hey, I would love to take delivery ASAP. Is there a promotion where I can get 10,000 supercharger miles? Or especially if you're on the fence of a Model 3 delivery, like ask the rep if you don't have a pending order, ask them if they could throw in 10,000 supercharger miles or this, that, or whatever promos they might potentially have, because you never know. They might try and entice you to take delivery ASAP. I mean, we love going to waitingfortesla.com where we can see all the different vehicles here. And there's a good amount of Tesla Model Ys and Model 3s with massive discounts. Like I'm talking $1 to $2, maybe even $3,000. Like this one right here, the cheapest Model Y in the country right now, 2023 Tesla Model 3 rear-wheel drive. It's got 3,700 miles on it, and it is priced with a $3,350 discount, bringing it down to $41,640. So definitely a pretty good deal, right? Pretty good deal right there. But I mean, this vehicle, we know that the Tesla Model 3 rear-wheel drive standard range is going to lose the $7,500 federal tax credit, and so well, is a price drop incoming? I think so. So maybe it's not a good deal, but that's for you to decide at the end of the day. But definitely some pretty interesting stuff with Tesla's supercharger miles coming out for the England market or the Europe market. And so we could easily, maybe I'm going to say tomorrow, prediction that it's going to happen for the American market. So would that be enough for you to take delivery ASAP? I mean, I know a lot of you have Model Y deliveries pending. So maybe they'll just put it on like Model 3 deliveries at the end of the day. But we're going to jump into our next topic. But before we do that, this video is sponsored by my Patreon link. So definitely check out link down in the description if you're interested. All right. Let's do one more topic, and then, of course, we'll get into the chat. Let's see. We got vehicle refer, or no, so we got supercharging miles returned. I guess we'll talk about this one next. Let's see. What's next on the list? Sorry, my eye itched. It seems like Tesla referral program is also now back in Europe in this market. So we'll take a look at it exactly, because if you didn't know, there is a Tesla referral program. After you download the app and after you purchase a vehicle, you can actually refer people for promotions. They had this a while in the back where you could refer cars for people to buy and also solar, but you would really just get a standard 1,000 supercharger miles. But now, like the referral program, if you haven't seen it, it's more built out. You can buy swag or get points to get swag and all this different stuff. But now vehicle referrals have never really come back, but now they are testing it, and it's been tested in China, and now actually as of today, now Europe. So we'll take a look at, we'll see what the actual program is and talk about, will this actually come to America yet? And my prediction is yes, it potentially will, and especially because there's a good amount of inventory. But if you're just joining in, my name is Dennis. I love talking about Tesla hacking, so definitely hit that subscribe if you're interested. So let's take a look at this. Shout out to Tesla North. Tesla referral program is back in Europe. Tesla has reintroduced the referral credit program in Europe, offering free supercharging and more, and being referred for the sale of its vehicles. So you can see here, if you refer, I guess for some reason, all the different models have the same point valuation. So Model S and Model X, 2,000 points, and then Model 3 and Model Y, 2,000 points. So which is kind of interesting, right? Because you would think that if you were to refer someone to a Model S or X, it would be weighted a little bit more because it's a little bit more of an expensive vehicle. Like Tesla should give us more or give you more, but definitely weird. So referrals and buyers can trade in credits for supercharging kilometers, merchandise, and upgrades for acceleration boost, which goes for 9,500 credits. So let's look at, shout out to Tesla Audrey. We've got a screenshot here of the back end of the supercharger miles showing 0. You see here's the back end of the 2,000 points for any vehicle that's actually referred, because for a while you couldn't actually get any points at all in the Europe program. And so it'd be great to bring this back for the US. Right now in the US, if you refer someone to solar, you get like 9,000 points or something like that. But of course, solar is, well, I guess it's technically cheaper than a Tesla vehicle, right? It's more work, I would say. But you can see right here, just to get supercharger, it can be anywhere or for 1,500 miles for 5,000 credits. You have to, I guess, refer like 3 people to get 1,500. Am I reading this correctly? Let's say 500 kilometers for 1,500 credits, 5,000 kilometers for 5,000 credits. Okay, so that's like what, a couple hundred miles? Doesn't seem like a good deal at all, right? But I mean, it's good. I mean, at the end of the day, we want this program to come back no matter what the valuation is. because there's a lot of people that buy Teslas and a lot of people that you probably have talked to about your friends and family buying a Tesla. And so it'd be good to get something out of it because word of mouth marketing is probably the best at the end of the day. But definitely some pretty interesting stuff. We're going to see a lot of cool stuff coming in from other markets first, and then hopefully we start to see it in America right after. But we're going to jump into the live stream comments. But before we do that, this video is actually sponsored by my Patreon link. Down in the description is the Patreon link, so definitely check it out if you're interested. All right. If you're just joining in, welcome. We're talking about the federal tax credit for the Model Y and how we potentially think it could go either way, I guess. Like we put a poll on the channel. A lot of people think that it will keep the $7,500 federal tax credit. I think it will go down to $3,750, or realistically, I think that maybe the Model Y standard range will keep the $7,500 and the long range and performance will go down to $3,750. But well, I mean, what we know is that maybe the IRS and the Treasury will release some sort of information this week. It could be tomorrow or maybe even Friday, but definitely keep a lookout for it. But if you're taking delivery this week, you should absolutely be fine and have no worries at all about it. But definitely some pretty interesting stuff. Let's jump into the comments into the live stream. Ron, great evening. Thank you. Welcome. Market Scraper, picking up a Model Y this week. Nice. Congrats. The German Pro, welcome. Can you secure a vehicle in a neighborhood? Stay if you're willing to pick it up in Las Vegas, trying to get a car anywhere in California. So it's a little tough. Sometimes they won't let you. They definitely won't ship it. I think your best bet is try and call Tesla and see if they'll allow you to pick it up in that state. What do you think Tesla has to lower the prices to keep up with changing the tax credit? Their cars are already most competitive EV price. No need to lower them in this price. I think it will, because people will want that tax credit. I think a lot of people, yes, it's competitively priced, but it's also even more so competitively priced because of the $7,500 tax credit. So if people lose that or lose half of it, I think Tesla will need to adjust it a little bit just to move it down a little bit. EDD has some time this week until March 31st. I think Tesla Computer is smoking some good weed and praying my order is done with no issues. Good, not good project management. Yeah, EDDs move a lot. Hopefully you should be able to come in at that last minute and take delivery by the end of the month. June 31st. Yeah, sorry, June 30th. My delivery date is also good today through March 31st. Yeah, right. Yeah, you should be fine. I mean, cross your fingers. Like you want good thoughts, because yes, it could get pushed, but hopefully you'll be able to take it delivery ASAP. D Hong, hey, welcome to the stream. Tapia Andy, where do you work? Picking up my Model Y long range. Finances are good. Any tips? If you got good financings all squared away, you got rates as low as 2.5 to 3.5 or 3.99, then you should be good and proceed. ID Buzz is cool, but terrible range right here. That's a good question. Now I want to know what's up with the ID Buzz, because it looks like we got some interesting news coming out with the ID Buzz. So maybe we'll get, I just want to test drive it, but I guess I want to test drive a lot of vehicles, and I'm still have yet to do any of that. Model Y long range EDD changed to April 11 to May 10th to April 7 to May 6th. LOI, I think I will lose the tax credit, at least partial. Yeah, it seems like, I mean, we don't know, right? It could stay around. It could go down to $3,750. We could have some sort of transitionary period where all vehicles would still qualify. We don't know. I mean, that's best case scenario. I would say we would have some sort of transitionary period. Is it wrap and Tesla paint protection worth it for a new Tesla? How much would a Tesla Model 3 cost to wrap in Texas? I would say anywhere from $2,000 to $3,000, but paint protection film for just full frontal is like $1,500 to $2,000. If is it worth it? Depends on you as how much do you drive and all that stuff. When do you change April from the previous? Yeah, EDDs change a lot. Crusher, welcome back to the stream. Welcome in. Thank you for jumping in. Hey, Dennis, just joined to see if Tesla is giving 10,000 supercharger miles to Model Y and 3 since it is the last week of March. Well, actually, Happy Hippo, you had great timing because it looks like it is being brought back in Europe market. And so, as you know, like this potentially could come to the US very, very soon. But if you've got a pending delivery, anybody else, it doesn't hurt to ask. That's my model. It doesn't hurt to ask the Tesla sales advisor that you're working with to see if they could, make that deal a little bit more sweeter for you to take delivery ASAP. Finally got my Model Y long range from Buena Park last week. Had a couple quality issues like everyone has mentioned. Reported all work requests app appointment confirmed, but kind of scared to drive it now. Yeah, because I think yours issues were a little bit worse than others, right? So maybe don't drive it then. But it should be fine. Why does my EDD keep changing? Was supposed to get it March 23rd, 31st. Now May 3rd to June 7th. Yes, I've heard of this, Caesar. Like a lot of EDDs got pushed really from like basically now to further out. And so maybe Tesla knows something. Maybe they think that they know that they're going to get the tax credit. And so they're going to push it out so they don't have to be as rushed. Who knows, right? Evening, Dennis. I was supposed to take delivery Saturdays, but my bank told me I can get a check till Wednesday. Can I extend? I can't get a check till Wednesday. Can I extend? Tough. Tesla is going to get very, very aggressive as we get into the last few days of the month. So be careful if you try and push it. I mean, just try and explain the situation to them. I mean, as a worst case, maybe try switching to Tesla financing and then refinancing after. I mean, that might be even worse. A report, of course, while the car is under 100 miles, but wary on driving it. It's just me, LOL. Yeah, as long as you reported it, you should be good. And as long as like the car driving it doesn't mess it up even more. But I mean, it's under warranty, so you should be good. Does the Model 3 Performance have the new drive unit the Model Y Performance has? I'm not actually sure on that. I was able to get the 2.9 Tower Federal refi because of your tip. It took very long to finalize, but it is done. I got pre-approved a couple days ago before they ended that promo rate. They ended that promo rate a long time ago. Caribbean. Sorry if I butchered that. But congrats to you for getting that 2.9 on red, because I'm pretty sure Tower Federal is massively like raised right now. Whoa, they changed their website. Whoa, what's going on? New refresh. They're like higher rates, new loans. Let's put all that money back into our new redesigned website. Let's see, auto refinancing. Unless they change stuff. Ooh, okay. That's actually really good for used, I would say. Let's see. Where is let's see, auto loans. And then do they not finance new vehicles anymore? Oh, loan rates right here. Consumer rates, new cars. Ooh. Rip. 6.99 for 72 months, 8.49 for 84 months. And this is all higher than Tesla financing, so not recommended. But if you were locked in before they raised these rates way back in December, then you definitely are good. And congrats to you. Switching to a Model Y all-wheel drive, picking up 330 instead of waiting on the long-range Model Y. 1,000 less. Is this a good move? I would say so. If you want to lock in that federal tax rate, you don't want to worry about whatever could be happening in the future, I would say it's a good move. But who knows, right? Let's say if Tesla loses the 7,500 federal tax rate and it goes down to 3,750, I could easily see Tesla just reducing or changing that rate and making sure that or changing the price so that is reflected and people will still get the value of it in the end of the day. I didn't realize that half of my screen is kind of like empty on the right side. I should make this bigger. Let's see. Technical difficulties here. There we go. Will the Tesla Model Y price go down in the next few months? I think so. Steve, welcome back. Thank you for coming in. On Friday, my Model Y Long Range 19 EDD changed to May 15 to June 26 from the original EDD. What do you think that is? Really no like insight on that. It could just be Tesla deciding that they want to push it out because maybe they don't need the deliveries by the end of the month. So they said they'll just give themselves breathing room, or logistically they don't think they can deliver it, or they basically canceled a bunch of orders or pushed out a bunch of orders to across the country, and they dumped them all onto the website so that they could try and get deliveries ASAP by the end of this month. Because that's the question, right? That is certainly the question about, will Tesla hit their delivery number? And so we'll talk about it. We'll see what some of the actual predictions are. So in this next topic, we're going to talk about Q1 Tesla delivery numbers and what people are actually predicting to see if Tesla will hit their number or hit the analyst number, because this could predict what type of discounts or promotions we will see in these next few days. So we're going to talk about it. But if you're just joining in, my name is Dennis. I love talking about Tesla hacking, as I like to call it, but basically just getting the best deal on Tesla with the best financing rate. So definitely hit that subscribe if you're interested. Today's video is actually posted on my Patreon link down below in the description if you want to support the channel and get a list of my best credit union and bank rates to buy your Tesla. So definitely check it out. Patreon link down in the description. So let us take a look at this. Of course, shout out to Sawyer Merritt. How many vehicles do you think Tesla will deliver in Q1? The delivery report is scheduled this weekend, and that's of course because March 31st is the last day of the quarter, and this is when at the end of every quarter Tesla releases promotions. And so that's why we're seeing across the board that Tesla in the European market has now released a 3,000 supercharger promotion for that market because it seems like they need the sales out. And also now Tesla referral program is back in the European market as well. And so we should really see, I mean, Tesla Model S and X in the American market now have a referral or 10,000 supercharger miles that you can buy or you can get with purchasing a Model S or X. And so the question is, will Tesla actually hit their number? I want to say in December, or at least the Q4 of last year number was like 420, and Tesla came in at like 406 or 412 or something like that. And so we're kind of at the same prediction or predicament right now. It looks like people are speculating 500,000, 420, 690. I remember that number because people were also saying the same for Q4. And so this could be interesting because I think analysts think like 420 or 406 or something to worry about. But if Tesla can sell the same amount of vehicles that they could sell in last quarter of Q4, when Q4 is usually the strongest quarter for the end of the year, that could be pretty interesting. And so these next few days are going to be crucial, I would say, for Tesla. And we'll see if there's going to be any added discounts or any added promotions. But Tesla is doing the same thing that they do every single end of quarter, in which they're dumping a lot of vehicles into inventory, and they're also adding a lot of vehicles with discounts. And so it's, if you want a discounted Tesla Model Y or a discounted Tesla Model 3 or even S or X for this matter, check out waitingfortesla.com, check out the only demos section. And what I would actually look for if I was looking to buy one of these, I would look for a $2,000 to $3,000 discount with 1,000 to 2,000 demo miles on these vehicles. I bought a demo vehicle in the past, and the last one was a Model Y Performance. It was a 2021. It had 888 miles on it, and it had a $3,000 discount. So definitely worth it, in my opinion, to get a demo vehicle because it still qualifies for the $7,500 federal tax credit. It still qualifies for state programs because it's a new vehicle and you're still a new owner, the first owner. Well, you want to make sure you are, but it still gets all the incentives. So just adding that extra discount on it is just a little cherry on top of the day to take delivery. But definitely some pretty interesting stuff. Let me know what your thoughts on how many vehicles Tesla is going to sell by the end of this quarter. And of course, as every day goes by, it's going to get even more interesting, especially because the Treasury is supposed to announce what is going to happen to the $7,500 federal tax credit for the Model 3 and the Model Y. So we're going to jump into our next topic. But before we do that, this video is actually sponsored by my Patreon link. Down in the description is the Patreon link where you can support the channel. And there's a variety of benefits, but some of them include actually scheduling a call with me. You can ask me any questions about buying a Tesla, selling Tesla, or even financing a Tesla. And after you join the Patreon, you get a link to my buying guide, which has links to all the credit unions and banks that I have that all have interest rates lower than Tesla financing, so you can save on the interest rate before buying your Tesla. So definitely check it out. Link down below in the description. All right, let's see, water break, and then we've got a couple more topics. Thanks for joining in, everyone. Well, first, if you're just joining in, we're talking about the federal tax credit. Well, we were talking about the federal tax credit. Of course, Model 3 is going to lose it. We know that, at least from what Tesla is telling their employees. It's going to lose the $7,500 federal tax credit. But Model Y, that's the question. Will it go down to $3,750? Will it keep the $7,500? Of course, we put a poll on the channel. We just did it about 30 minutes ago, and overwhelming, almost 50% thinks Model Y will keep the full $7,500 credit. But I actually think this is most realistic. Model Y standard range will keep $7,500. Long range and performance will actually go down to $3,750. And here's why. Just taking a look at the price increases that Tesla has done in the most recent month or two. Long range, they increased it $2,000. And so I think they did that in preparation to drop it down $3,750 or even drop it down $3,000, because once they hear that, or once they announce that the Tesla Model Y is only getting $3,750 tax credit, they'll need to adjust the prices so that people are still in line. So if you're someone that doesn't qualify for the $7,500 tax credit, you might as well wait, because prices could change in the near future, especially if you're someone that doesn't qualify for the $7,500 federal tax credit and you are buying a Model 3. You might as well wait, because you can for sure bet, especially with all this inventory that Tesla has on the Model 3 standard range, if it loses the $7,500 federal tax credit, they will drop the price of it. Not saying they'll drop it down $7,500 initially. They could go $3,750 initially, but I certainly believe that they will drop the price on the Model 3 standard range. All right. In this next topic, I want to talk about the Volkswagen Buzz. I want to hear what you guys think about it, because I definitely thought this was a vehicle that was not coming out for a bit, but it might be coming out later this year. So we'll talk about it, because I think it's a cool looking car. I want to know more about it. I want to know more so like what is the price of it and all that stuff. But more importantly, I want to hear what you all think about it, and would you actually sell your Tesla Model Y to get into it? Because it's definitely a rad looking car in my opinion. But we'll take a look at it. We'll look at what the prediction, or what Volkswagen has announced that they're going to be producing this vehicle at, when, and how many units. But if you're just joining in, my name is Dennis. I love talking about Tesla hacking, as I like call it, which is basically just getting the best deal on Tesla at the best financing rate. So definitely hit that subscribe if you're interested. So let's take a look at this. Shout out to Inside EVs. They posted this article. Volkswagen ID Buzz production target for 2023, 44,000 units. Next year, the production rate might more than triple. That's a lot of freaking cars, a lot of freaking Volkswagen Buzzes around, but I think it looks cool. I mean, it's definitely a different style. But the funny thing with this is, so we went to Thailand, in November of last year. Check out the vlogs on Corgi-san's channel, and we saw a bunch of these similar type of vehicles. But of course, those vehicles were made by other brands, Toyota, Hyundai, and Lexus. And so I really thought these vehicles are pretty cool. Like, they're very spacious. They have a lot of room. They could be used as camper vans or whatever. But let's take a look. Volkswagen Commercial Vehicles, part of the Volkswagen Group, is increasing production of the ID Buzz all-electric van to reduce wait times and expand its global markets. According to the company, more than 32,000 Volkswagen ID Buzz and ID Buzz cargo vans are going to be produced cumulatively, compared to 10,000 units produced in 2022. So that's a good amount. So I guess, is this American market, or this seems to be, I guess, worldwide? So I guess the question is, when is this actually coming to America? So I guess this vehicle is already being produced in the other countries, but I guess, okay, so we'll be launched in North America market 2024. So I guess that's next year I was actually thinking it was going to be this year, but I mean, taking a look at it, because I want to see, I don't even know, like, how much is the price of this Buzz actually going to be? Because if this comes out, I mean, I have this bad feeling that this is going to come out like at $60,000 to $70,000, which is going to be more price than a Model Y, but kind of in this weird in between like a Model X, or under the price of a Model X. But if this came out like $40,000 to $50,000, which I know it's probably not going to, but I think that would be a pretty sick price, especially because if it comes with like free charging at the end of the day. Let's see, how much is Volkswagen ID Buzz? If anybody knows, okay, so equivalent $72,000 USD. So that's kind of expensive. Maybe we'll kind of skip this one at the end of the day. But definitely some pretty interesting stuff. You know, we're going to start to see a lot of these vehicles probably pumping out in the world next year, or even in the US, because it seems like a lot of manufacturers are starting to gonna double down on EVs in the next few years. So, which is good. I mean, more competition for Tesla to lower prices and put out more better value cars at the end of the day. But definitely some pretty interesting stuff. Let me know what your thoughts on it. We're going to jump into the live stream comments. But before we do that, this video is sponsored by my Patreon link. Down in the description of the Patreon link, so definitely check it out if you're interested. All right, let's see. Dennis, you said Model Y is better value than X. Yes, 100%. In terms of price, everything. Hi, Dennis. I'm expecting delivery between 29th and 31st. Should I reach out to Tesla rep for an exact date? Can they push the date further? They will actually reach out to you when they have a estimated delivery appointment time. But at this point, you could try asking. You could even try going to the store to see if they can bump you up for a delivery. Hey, Dennis picked up a Model Y black white 314, another 321 white. I hope we make the Q numbers for Q1. Nice, Arash. 2 Tesla deliveries. Doing your part. I love it. Because let's see, delivery Q1 delivery beat for Tesla. The Barclays is expecting 425. But inventory remains elevated. Additional price cuts likely. Ooh, interesting. IRA likely temporary boost in the U.S. may have pulled forward demand. So that's some pretty interesting speculate or predictions coming up for it, because that if the IRA boosted sales and people decide to buy now instead of later, that means Tesla will have to drop the price if they need to, if the IRA disappears, the Inflation Reduction Act tax credit disappears. So definitely some pretty interesting stuff. What's the reason why they're dropping the standard 3 from the credit? The batteries? Yeah, because it's actually, I think it's produced in China and the batteries are sourced from China. If people reserve existing inventory, when do they pick up? Same day? It's not that quick. It could be as quick as the next day, or I mean, I guess it could be that quick, right? If it's like the vehicle's ready to go and you've got your financing all squared away, they could be same day, but most likely it's going to be a day or two later. Any advice on buying new versus used Model Y Performance if the lease is a good deal or not? Leasing a Model Y is not a good deal. Leasing a Model 3 standard range potentially might be a good deal. New versus used depends on what price you're getting, and also do you qualify as an individual for the $7,500 federal tax credit. Took delivery of a Model 3 Performance on 3/19 here in Vallejo. Nice. Congrats to you. Congrats on purchasing a brand new Tesla. And if anybody is just bought a Tesla or is about to buy one, check out our Tesla part accessory partners on the channel. We've got the discount codes on the screen, and all of them are down below in the description as well. We've got Tamai, good interior accessories. You can use a discount code right there. We've got Jawa, really good phone mount that I've used in the past and I still have. We've got Tesloid, good entry level all-weather floor mats. We've got MAGBAK, a little bit more premium phone mounts for your Tesla Model 3 or Model Y only. That might actually looks just like the OEM interior. And of course, we've got 3D Mats USA for a more premium floor mat. If you're interested, discount code on the screen and down below in the description. Inventory looking good. Yes, 100%. Model X video. Yes, video is edited. I got to change the music on it because it was actually copyrighted, but we've got to change it. And then we've got to make a thumbnail for that, of course. What wheel and tire setup recommendation do you have? Anything that's staggered at the end of the day. And even, I would say even 19-inch Geminis for the Model Y. Just paint them black. I placed an order for the mid-January long-range Model Y, and I'm going to take delivery tomorrow afternoon in Atlanta, Georgia. So happy. Congrats to you, and enjoy it in good health, and hopefully you got your financing all squared away. I took delivery of Model Y long range on Friday. Finally, it came with a paint chip and some gray paint effects on the driver's side. What do you think Tesla will do at my service appointment? It's a white Model Y. They might actually try to take your vehicle and repaint the whole thing, which could take 2 to 3 months. So just be aware of that. For me, the deal breaker is to get into any other V is the charging network. I cannot rely on Electrify America. Might as well go back to ICE if that's the case. Yeah, 100% I agree there. It's tough to go back to, or it's tough to go to any other electric vehicle just because of the charging network. And even if Tesla opens up their charging network, it's still going to be expensive. I think home charging is the way to go, but then that can also get expensive at a certain point as well. So it's really tough at the end of the day. My EDD was April 5th to May 3rd. Last week, yesterday, I got a VIN and EDD changed to March 26th to 31st. Today, I got a delivery date. Nice. Congrats. Congrats to you, Long, and enjoy it. So hopefully you can take delivery ASAP, and I got your financing all squared away. They're trying to sell an old inventory, so soon they can start selling the Model 3 long range. They are on purpose not selling the Model 3 long range. After this rebate will go off, they will start to sell Model 3 long range. Yeah, that's a good point, because right now on the Tesla website, if you try and order a Model Model 3 long range, it does not exist. Like, you cannot buy it at all. But if you go to the inventory page, you might be able to get one. I mean, for a while they've been selling like hotcakes, but even right now, if you go to Waiting for Tesla, there really is none of them actually available. So maybe this will be maybe a nice relaunch of Model 3 long range, Model Y standard range onto the website once they have more clarification on the tax credit and what exactly is happening with the 7,500. Did you end up getting solar? What did you do? Can you do an episode on solar? We have not yet. I've got this massive spreadsheet, right, that has like 8 or 9 companies on it. I'm trying to push all of them to give me a better price, of course, because that's how we roll here. And so yeah, not yet. I'm also waiting because California has NEM 3.0, the 2.0, 3.0 that's ending or coming into effect, and we're actually not affected by that. So I feel like I might as well wait, because once that goes into effect, basically utility companies will give you nothing for your power back that you generate from solar, and so I think demand for solar will go down, and I think that's the good time to go in there and snipe in. Curio, thank you for the super chat. Hopefully you're doing well, and thanks for coming in. Jaden, if they take it to repaint, what are the chances I get a loaner? I had a Model 3 before, I never got a loaner. I got it at the San Francisco Service Center. Tough. So that actually happened to me. I had a Model 3 Performance Stealth. There was some paint issues on the front bumper. They took the car for 2 months. I did not get a Tesla loaner. I think I got a regular rental car for like maybe a month or 2 or something, and I got Uber credits for some portion of that as well. It was not worth it in my opinion. So it's a mixed bag. Sometimes you get a loaner, sometimes you don't. So just be FYI on there. Can you share your spreadsheet? Actually, we made a video on that, I think a couple of weeks ago, with all the different companies at the time, but now it's even built out to it's eight companies. But we will at some point. We'll make updated videos on that as we get through the process. I was supposed to pick up mine past 30, but now being pushed back to April 5th because it didn't pass inspection. Hoping they retain the 7,500. Otherwise, I'm going to cancel. If it didn't pass inspection, that means it probably really had some bad issues. I would try and switch to an inventory car, especially if you're a Model Y or Model 3, because there seems to be a good amount of them out there. I would ask them, like, hey, is there any cancellations that you can switch to, or any of these other vehicles that you can switch to instead? All right, I think we got one more topic. We talked about Q1, we talked about the ID Buzz, which doesn't look like a cool car actually because it's too expensive, $70,000. No bueno in my book. Might as well just get a Model Y at that point. Talked about supercharging, free supercharging coming back as a promotion in the European market. We've got vehicle referrals coming back as well in the European market. So I could easily see that coming into the US market very, very, very soon. All right. So in this next topic, we're going to talk about Model 3, the values of Tesla Model 3, and how one report is saying that those values are taking a massive nosedive for used Model 3s. And I guess that makes sense, right? The high prices of these used Teslas couldn't last that long. And so I think all values, or actually I know all values of Teslas are going down. And so we'll take a look at it and we'll see what they're actually citing here in this article. But if you're just joining in, my name is Dennis. I love talking about Tesla hacking, as I like to call it, but basically just getting the best deal on Tesla at the best financing rate. So definitely hit that subscribe if you're interested. So let us take a look at this. I actually found this post on Reddit first, so shout out to Car Cooler. Tesla Model 3 leads a nosedive in used EV prices. I love this first comment. I hope so, because I'd really love to own a Tesla, because there is a tax credit, a used EV tax credit for used EVs, and the stipulations there is that it has to be under $25,000 and you must purchase it from a dealer. And so if a Model 3, you can find one, a used one for under $25,000 from a dealer, then it might actually make sense. So shout out to Green Car Reports. You can see overall used cars prices are down 4.7% from September and down 8.7% from a year ago. But take a look at Model 3. The average Model 3 prices is down almost 22% since just 6 months ago, which is pretty detrimental, right? Like I know a lot of people out there are trying to sell their Model 3 and get into a Model Y. I talked to a lot of people that are trying to do that exact scenario, and it's tough because if your value of your Model 3 just went down 22%, so if that was a $40,000 vehicle and it went down like to $30,000, I can see how that could play a huge piece into not wanting to sell it or trade it into getting to Model Y. But taking a look at Car Gurus, which is our favorite inventory data tracking site, which tracks all the retail prices across, or retail list prices across used cars, we can see Model 3 down 24% year over year, and the last 90 days is actually down 14% on retail list prices. But I mean, the worst is probably over, I would say, for the used market. So if you are selling your Tesla Model 3, like it essentially should stabilize at this point as we get into the spring fever type of purchasing. People get their tax refunds, and that, of course, we get into summer fever. People want to buy new stuff, but definitely some pretty interesting stuff that the Tesla Model 3 is dragging down the used EV side, which we talk about this a lot, and how the Model Y is definitely a better valued vehicle, more in demand. So if you're on the fence of trying to buy a Model 3 or Model Y, might as well just try and get a Model Y, because if you can afford it, of course, because right now there's plenty of them that we can get some sort of discount on, anywhere from $1,000 to $3,000 off. Now, of course, the flip side is the Model 3 also has discount inventory, anywhere from $1,000 to $4,000 off, where here's one with $3,300 off. So definitely some pretty interesting stuff. Let me know what your thoughts on it. We're going to jump into the live stream comments to finish out the stream. But before we do that, this video is actually sponsored by my Patreon link. Down below the description, there's a Patreon link where you support the channel. So definitely check it out if you're interested. Let's see, what do we got? If you're just joining in, welcome. Tesla Model Y, I predict, will lose the $7,500 federal tax rate. I mean, if it gets the full $7,500 tax rate, that would be amazing, because then sales would go through the roof and continue to stay through the roof. But I certainly feel like the Tesla Model Y standard range will potentially might get the $7,500 tax credit, and the long range of performance will go down to $3,750. And if that happens, then Tesla will lose, or Tesla will just drop the price of the Model Y long range like a couple $1,000s at a time. But of course, we put a poll on the channel. We asked Tesla Model Y $7,500 tax credit prediction. What is your prediction? And an overwhelming 50% says Model Y will keep the $7,500 tax credit. I think best case scenario is, of course, it keeps it, and or maybe if it doesn't keep it, then there's a 30 to 60 or maybe even 90-day transitionary period. That'd be nice. But what we do know is the Treasury is supposed to release information sometime this week. It could even be as late as Friday. So definitely interesting stuff. But we're gonna stay on it and see, keep an eye on it. I think Tesla money strategy is sell regular till rebate up. Then after that, sell to long range to make money. After that, Project Highland. Yeah, if you can get the tax credit, I mean, you're technically not supposed to get the tax credit and then resell it, because you're not supposed to resell. But who knows, right? That's exactly what I'm doing. Going to wait. Yeah, might as well wait at the end of it. How are you able to get exempted from NEM 3.0? It's actually LADWP. If you live in this area, you're exempt. SCE, all the other ones, it's changing for everybody else. But so I certainly think solar demand is going to go off a cliff, because there's a lot of hype right now with people trying to rush to get applications in. And I think my target price, I want to pay like $2 a kilowatt, which would be sick. But I know that I think like cost of materials is already like $1.80 a kilowatt. But if we can pay like 2.5, I still want to pay lower than that, like 2.5 a kilowatt for good material, like Panasonic or Enphase or Tesla Powerwall or whatever, because even like Tesla themselves, like 2.7, but of course they don't, you don't factor in some things. But I love to pay. Of course, the cheaper the better at the end of the day. Hey, Dennis, for the new Model Y autopilot, the basic autopilot would work without the enhanced autopilot and full self-driving? Yeah, you should be fine. Oof, thanks for letting me know. No, thank you. Puzzly, thank you for the super chat. Pair character punching the air with fist and bump right on the knuckles. Thanks for dropping that. Thanks for coming and supporting, hitting the like button and dropping a super chat. I have delivery scheduled for tomorrow. Model Y Performance for an old price of $56,990. Should I take delivery? To hear you 100% should take delivery because the Model Y Performance is the lowest at that price. That's the lowest price it's ever been ever, and it already has gone up $2,000. We can see it right here from this price history tracker. You can see $56,990 was the lowest price of a Model Y Performance it's ever been ever, and now of course it's already up $2,000. So I would say yes, you're not going to be able to flip it and make profit, but you're getting a great deal plus the $7,500 federal tax rate as long as you qualify. Then that's a great deal at the end of the day. Can I get another vehicle from another state to me? You technically you can, but they're not going to do it this late in the game because it's already almost the end of the month, and Tesla does not like to ship vehicles this late. You could try calling that Tesla store to see if you can take delivery at that store, or if like you're in SoCal, you can go all the way up to NorCal. But state lines really tough at the end of the day. Should I change from Model Y to Model X to do Uber? That's tough. My question to you there is, do you already Uber a lot? Do you already know what type of revenues that you can put away in the bank? And have you considered financing partners like Tenet? Tenet allows you to defer the tax credit, the $7,500 off of the loan, so that which then equals to a lower monthly payment. This actually makes a lot of sense for Uber drivers because I know you probably want more cash in hand on a monthly basis because you don't necessarily know the cash flow. And so allowing you to defer the payment or defer that portion of the loan all the way to next year so that when you get the tax rate next year, you can then pay off Tenet. And this is good because they don't have a lower monthly payment for your EV or your Tesla. And so definitely check it out. Link down below in the description for Tenet. And thank you to Tenet for sponsoring a portion of our videos throughout the month. So definitely check it out. It's definitely worth it if you want quick financing and, of course, a deferment for a low monthly payment. But definitely some interesting stuff. Thank you all for joining in. This week is going to be a little bit rocky, I would say, but we're going to still do streams every single day. So thanks for joining in. Daisy, hi Dennis. My Model Y have not received the Park Assist update. Was the upgrade released to everyone? Yes, it is released to almost everyone, I think. Well, my recommendation, actually, we made a video about it, but basically there's a full video on the walkthrough on what to actually do. But just go to the server side and try and flip it from advanced to standard back and forth. Power cycle the whole car and then go to sleep and then hopefully wait for it to tomorrow. Model X to do Uber? Hell no, that's an expensive car. Yes, I agree, but buying a SUV like that, there's a reason why there's like Uber Black and those Escalades and everything, or Suburbans, is because they get an extra tax credit all the way up to 80%, I think, for Section 179. So that could make sense, but I don't know if I would jump into it unless I knew I was already making revenues from Uber on a monthly and consistent basis. I mean, there's people that can make $130,000 from driving Uber, like at least in California. I've talked to a few drivers, so it could definitely make a lot of sense. I received the update on Saturday and installed it yesterday. It is not great. Yeah, it seems like Park Assist is getting a lot of mixed reviews, and it doesn't seem to be working how it's supposed to be. But of course, that's Tesla. There's always going to be more updates. They're going to be constantly improving those software and hardware updates. So definitely do not worry about it. But thanks for watching, everyone. Please hit that like if you enjoy it. We'll be back tomorrow, probably same time, hopefully. And I'll see you guys in the next one. See ya.